So the ANC is gearing up to launch its manifesto this evening to show voters what it's offering ahead of the local government elections. Not more than 500 people are expected to descend on Church Square in Pretoria for the event addressed by ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa. That is, of course, the maximum allowed under level 2 of the lockdown regulations. To discuss, we're joined by senior reporter Samekele Maseko from the SABC. Samekele, so who's there? What's expected? And when will this event get underway?
Well, Francis, this event will get underway at 600 hours this afternoon when the national chairperson of the ANC, Mantashe, will take on to that podium at the back to address these 500 members of the ANC. On stage, you can see Mtutuzi Manana, you can see the likes of Msebenzi Zwane, ANC Women's League President Batabile Dlamini Nokawe Mafu is also on the podium, and Derek Honeycomb, who's also an ANC member. We've also seen Dakota Likhwete, who's also on the podium. So a number of NEC members have arrived here at the Church Square for the launch of the elections manifesto of the governing party. The ANC President will take to the podium at exactly 7 o'clock this afternoon to deliver the party's manifesto. But first, we are going to bring on Baba Usnuki Zigalala, who's the ANC Veterans League President. Mr. Zigalala, from a veteran's perspective, what are you expecting from the ANC President to say tonight? You've been part of the NEC meeting that was formulating this manifesto. What can South Africans, what can the elderly, particularly those who fought for the liberation of this country, expect from their President this afternoon?
Well, I think the President of the ANC and of the country is going to recommit the African National Congress to ensure that the poor services that we have delivered to our people, especially in municipalities, that is done away with. Because they've long been talking about lack of service delivery, lack of water and sanitation, lack of quality schooling itself in terms of buildings. I'm sure in the manifesto itself it will come out that we pledge that will definitely ensure that we give you quality service, and we must be held accountable. And those councillors who have been elected, they must serve society. They must not be there for self-service. But we as veterans who are going to make sure that in each and every municipality, veterans are involved in ensuring that skilled, competent, and people will be able to deliver services to society are being employed. You cannot just employ a person, unfortunately, who has just matric to be a mayor. It's unheard of, because you'll be dealing with a budget of 5 billion rands. And so we are saying that those who want to climb the ladder of leadership, they must make sure that they get better educated, high quality service to our people, because our people demand quality service and nothing else. And so we as the Veterans League, we are part and parcel of those who drafted the manifesto, and we're happy with the manifesto, and we'll make sure that the ANC wins these local government elections. Why were you deploying people who are not academically and skills-wise equipped to run these municipalities? A vast majority of ANC municipalities, to put off a better word, they're simply not viable. They don't have revenue. There is no services. They're bankrupt. There is rampant corruption. Well, I think you should understand that for the past 27 years, it was a question of saying a person who can shout the loudest slogan and in the branches, he gets elected to become a councillor. And then from there, the one who will have money to mobilize society to elect him as a mayor, he becomes a mayor. But now we've put in stringent resolutions to say that should not happen again. That is why mayors are going to go through an interview with the president and the top 5 to make sure that these are people who are skilled, these are people who are qualified, these are people who are competent. Because you cannot run a municipality if you don't have engineers, if you don't have people who have done architecture. But you cannot run people who have done sewerage. You cannot have that. And so you need highly competent and skilled black, white, and so-called colored people to be involved in the development of our society in municipalities.
When you go to Sidibeng in Mfuleni, there's sewage running on the streets of that particular municipality. The municipality has been failing to resolve that particular crisis, even with the deployment of the Deputy President. Why should the people of Mfuleni in Sidibeng give the ANC a chance again?
Well, it's up to the people of Mfuleni to make sure that these things happen. They themselves must make sure that their branches are viable. that they make sure that they hold those councillors accountable. A person in Mfuleni who's a councillor must be held accountable for what's happening there. If he's not able to deliver service to people of Mfuleni, they must elect another person who will be able to do it. We should hold our own people accountable as well. And so we are saying they should vote for the ANC, but they should be active in the branches of the ANC. They should be active in the ANC affairs. They must make sure that things are done properly and people are done with passion and in terms passion of delivering to the poor.
Thank you very much, Bab Uzigalala. That's the Veterans League President. Mr. Solima Paila, SACP First Deputy General Secretary. There's an onslaught against the workers in the country, in the words of the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU. The wage negotiations for the public service did not go their way. Why should workers continue voting for your alliance partner, the ANC?
Well, the matter is under attention and I think has been partly resolved. As you know, we had expressed our views in that matter quite clearly, because we believe that workers, particularly public sector workers, majority of whom have been in the front line in the fight against COVID-19, should not suffer the consequences of a problem that is not theirs. As you know, we were already in an economic crisis before COVID-19 further deepened our country into a deeper economic crisis, and of course worldwide. So therefore, that stance is an important stance by the workers to continue to fight for their rights. At the same time, we want to say to the workers, the ANC and its allies possesses the most thoroughgoing transformation agenda of our society, that they cannot allow other opposition parties to carry that particular mandate. We can fulfill that particular mandate and sort out our own internal problems, including the issues affecting workers post these elections. The main focus now is to ensure that we win these elections, also for them and their families across the board. Otherwise, we will then degenerate and actually reverse the gains of our democratic revolution.
How will you reverse the gains of the revolution when you are killing one another? In this very same region last week, Friday, a councillor candidate in Hammanskraal was gunned down with 20 bullets.
Yeah, we must not allow individual misbehavior, including sagarism, to defocus us as the collective majority. We must assert our leadership role, our value system as a movement, enforce compliance with rules and regulations, kick out those who are bringing in and contaminating the movement with with their wrong ideas and wrong ideology, including these attacks on people, which is completely not in line with our methods of doing things. And therefore, those are fringe elements. They should be dealt with as soon as possible through organizational processes and, of course, through the rule of law as well.
As the communists, what are you expecting from this manifesto as the last question to you, sir?
We expect the councillors that are going to be elected to root themselves amongst the people, to go and engage with communities about their community development, because we want to work together with the communities, not to make them the know-it-all who will go and tell the communities what needs to be done or what will happen, but to consult with communities for their own development, and also to be accountable, to fight against corruption, to be incorruptible. That is the main thing that we are expecting from these councillors, and to make sure that they continue to implement the comprehensiveness of the local government manifesto that we have adopted.
Thank you very much, Mr. Solima Paila. That was Snukizi Galala and Mr. Solima Paila, First Deputy General Secretary of the SACP, saying that they expect the councillors to be at the forefront of resolving community struggles. Back to you in studio.
Thank you, Samekele Maseko, covering that for us live. And as he says, it kicks off at 6 o'clock. Now, in the run-up to the launch, the party has been emphasizing that it plans to install capable candidates as mayors and senior municipal officials. It says more than a quarter of the more than 10,000 candidates it has registered are young people under the age of 35. Now, at a candidate preview event at Latuli House in Johannesburg last night, Ramaphosa said the party would make sure its councillors were fit and proper for public office. He introduced 18 young candidates and told them that the people must come first. The ANC hopes to regain control of metros that it lost in the 2016 local government elections. The only metros it governs are eThekwini, Buffalo City and Mangaung. And currently, of